3 count. Question of the week.
So obviously we are leading up to SummerSlam next Saturday night in Las Vegas. Not a Sunday this year. Don't forget that. But I had the thought, if you could change the result, and here's the question: if you could change the result of one SummerSlam main event, dating us all the way back to 1988, if you could change the result of one SummerSlam main event, which would you choose? John, anybody want to kick us off for this question of the week?
This was the easiest question of the week in the history of questions of the week.
Wow, that is a pretty bold claim.
The answer is the goddamn abomination of a main event in SummerSlam 1994, when you had Undertaker versus fake Undertaker in what might be the worst SummerSlam main event I can ever think of. Cool storyline, awful payoff, shitty match. Blah.
Wait, so you would have
I just wouldn't have that main event.
But the question was if you could change the result, not if you could
That's not what you just fucking read to me. Well, then I'd have the under. I don't fucking know. Then I fucked up.
The question of the week, as per the photographic on our social medias.
You know I don't look at that shit. You got to check the notes that you sent.
The result of one SummerSlam main event.
Yes, I would change that one, and the result would be another match.
Okay. All right. Well, you saved yourself.
I thought the same thing Ryan did. At first, but I went back and I corrected it. So
okay. Well, at least you did that, Mark.
But I had the same thing. I thought just completely eliminated main event. I thought it was easy.
Well, yeah. If we were going to not have one of the main events, I think that one's the easy one.
Well, I muffed up, boys. What can I say?
Well, I sent you the list of all the main events while we discuss it.
And that's how I came up with this.
Well, there we go. What's in the mug tonight, Ryan?
Mountain Dew.
So in the Undertaker versus Undertaker main event match, you would have had the Undertaker win instead.
That's correct.
Of the Undertaker.
That's good.
Thank you for getting it, Mark.
Tim or Mark, do you want to go? You want me to go? I can go.
I don't mind going.
I'll go. We'll let you go. To me, there's only one answer here, and I go back to the summer of 1993. I go back to the summer of Lex Luger, and I would not have Yokozuna beat Lex Luger. Think of how much stuff could have been different if Lex Luger had won the WWF Championship in August of 1993. Do we get the first episode of Monday Nitro with Lex going back? Like this could have been everything. This could have been Lex Luger, a WCW guy, coming in, changing himself from the narcissist, was staring at himself in the mirrors and the hot sun of Las Vegas, WrestleMania 9. So he gets on the Lex Express, goes driving around across the country, body slams Yokozuna on the 4th of July at the USS Intrepid, and you go all the way to SummerSlam? I mean, come on!
He won by disqualification.
Luger won the match.
He didn't win the title, though.
Oh, he won by
the title. New WWF champion.
So you're changing it to right? So you're changing it to Yokozuna wins per the question. You're changing the result to Yokozuna wins.
The result is Lex Luger becomes new WWF champion. He'll be your hero.
He was. He beat the guy.
He didn't win. He didn't become champion though, Ryan. Think what could have happened if Lex Luger would become WWF champion that summer. Lex Luger, new WWF champion. That's my change. That's my change or result of his SummerSlam main event. Give him that title. See what happens. Mark, Tim, why don't you go next? See, we're gonna go before I jumped in line here.
So my answer is the main event of SummerSlam 90.
Oh shit!
I would have had Ravishing Rick Rude beat Warrior for the WWF Championship in the cage.
Damn.
Okay.
Rude, one of the best ever to never be WWE champion.
Well, that's fair.
100%.
He had the Warriors number across the board.
His
And-
wife across his crotch.
Yes. And I feel like that is the answer of all answers. Ravishing Rick Rude becomes the WWF champion at SummerSlam 90.
Dang, I did not see anybody taking SummerSlam 90 on that one.
No, that's a good point. I like that.
I like that. I actually like that a lot. I like that a lot. Tim?
Actually, I'd had to really think. I thought Hogan would have main evented that just because it was Hogan.
Well, that was the
double main event, right?
double main event. The Hulk Hogan versus the Earthquake.
The Canadian Earthquake.
God, I fucking love that SummerSlam. It's such a good fucking SummerSlam.
That was a good one.
Mark, what do you got?
Well, Jim, I hope you're hold on to your socks. Is going to knock them off you. I picked the same one as Tim. I really did. I picked that.
Unbelievable.
I did. I looked at that list and I was like, Rude should have won the title in that cage. You know, it wasn't too long after that that Rude left the company and had a really good run as champion in WCW with the big gold belt, and then they brought in the WCW title. But Rude was such a good heel, and he made the Warrior look like $1 million. But,
what the hell is even that?
He did.
Rude should have had that moment, and then, like I said, shortly after that, he ended up in WCW and had a really good main event run as the champion.
Jeez.
Oddly enough, I believe Rick Rude only had 2 opponents at SummerSlam. He had Warrior twice and he had Junkyard Dog.
That sounds right.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, intense.
No kidding. Wow. I did not think half of the dais was going to have SummerSlam 90. I'm shook. I'm rocked.
I'm shooketh.
I'm shooketh. Looking at a couple of responses here. Tim on Twitter said Vader defeats HBK in 96.
Would have been a good one.
It would have hinged on them letting Vader be Vader. Would have been massive back at the time. He said, as someone who was 10 at the time, Vader was still terrifying to most of their audience. The board checked in, says Nexus up. I think that was 2010 Team WWE versus Team Nexus. Charlie checked in. He said Shawn over Hulk, which would have been 05. Let's see. Then jumping over to our Facebook page, Devin said he would have had Nexus win over WWE as well. And Nick said Michael should have gone over on Hogan in 2005. No need for Hulk to win that match at all. I don't think Michaels needed to win that match either. I think it's a fairly inconsequential one as well. One of the things that stuck out to me, because I actually went through and I went and made a list of all the main events from 2012 through 2020. There was only twice that Brock Lesnar was not in a SummerSlam main event. So it started 2012, Brock Lesnar versus Triple H. 2013, John Cena versus Daniel Bryan. 2014, of course, the murder of John Cena. Lesnar just throwing him around like a rag doll. 2015, Lesnar versus The Undertaker. 16, Lesnar versus Orton. 17, Lesnar versus Strowman versus Reigns versus Samoa Joe. 2018, Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. 19, Lesnar versus Seth Rollins. And, of course, last year, Braun Strowman versus The Fiend. So very Lesnar heavy over the last about decade here for the WWE. But obviously, doesn't appear with 1 week to go that we're going to get old Brocky Brock for the summer spectacle this year. But yeah, very very Brock heavy over the years for the WWE. But we probably dig up one more SummerSlam question for next week. Any other thoughts on this before we go to the break, gentlemen? No. All right.